Well, the short answer to this question is no. You don't have to pray in a certain way. There is no length or certain combination of words that need to be recited when it comes to prayer. But perhaps it would be helpful for a bit more of an explanation. First, let's remember that in a previous video we looked at who we are praying to. Jesus taught that we should pray beginning with our Father. So prayer is speaking to our Father. If that's new to you, it would be worth pausing this video now and having a watch of that first, then coming back. So prayer is like speaking to your dad. And for me, and most others, eloquence isn't something I ever worried about when speaking to my dad. He didn't refuse to listen to me until I had learnt to speak the Queen's English when I was a child. No, he delighted to hear from me because I'm his daughter. And so it is with God. Prayer is communicating with a loving Father. Secondly, there are lots of different ways in which you can pray, just as there are lots of different ways in which we can communicate. Prayer is about communicating with words, but it can also come in lots of different forms. It might be spoken out loud, but it could also be communicating with God through words internally. God hears both. Prayer can be a short sentence thanking God for something, or it could be a long conversation pouring out to God how we're feeling in a certain situation. Prayers can be said when we're joyful or when we're at our lowest moments in the deepest anguish, speaking between sobs. Whatever the circumstance we find ourselves praying in some sense it doesn't matter because it's not a performance. In fact, Jesus condemns those that stand on street corners so that everyone could see them, probably praying long and elaborate prayers that were just about making them look good. Prayer isn't a performance. It is about communicating with a loving Father. Thirdly, just as there isn't a certain way in which to pray, there isn't a certain place in which you need to pray. Perhaps you've been on holiday and walked around some great cathedrals in Europe. You can often see candles for sale that you can purchase and then say a prayer. And that can lead people to believe that inside of a church building is the only place to pray. Or maybe perhaps there are other places to pray, but the prayer works best said inside a huge and spectacularly opulent cathedral. But the wonderful truth that the Bible gives us about prayer is that it can be heard anywhere. And there is nowhere on earth that we can be more or less heard by God. If you've watched the video on who we're praying to, you will have heard how we can have full and complete access to God the Father in prayer through Jesus. Because of Jesus, the Bible says that we can approach God in prayer with confidence, knowing that wherever we are in the world, however ineloquent we might find our prayers to be, we can have confidence that we will receive mercy and grace in our time of need. Prayer isn't a performance. It is communicating with a loving Father who we can have complete access to because he sent his son Jesus into the world to die for us.